Well, I am a registered and sports massage therapist, and I've been in the profession for the past 26 years. I take pride in looking after my clients and giving them the best of myself that I can. And my inspiration for being healthy sort of extends beyond my profession itself and extends into my lifestyle as well. Oh my goodness, that is such a loaded question. About 5 years ago, I started developing an abdominal issue that eventually was made me hospitalized for about a period of time, and there was no real diagnosis at that time. I got checked for cancer, I got checked for all types of things, and that was sort of the beginning of my health journey. It sort of was a cascade of a number of problems after that. I've always had a thyroid issue. I've had a thyroid issue since I was a kid in grade 3 of all things. I think I was one of the first in Alberta to be diagnosed with a thyroid disease in such a young child. So I've always had thyroid disease, and then I developed this pattern of after hospital of adrenal fatigue. I was having problems with my thyroid. I was having problems with my digestion, a number of things. And then about 3 years ago, all of a sudden, out of the blue, I sort of experienced this sort of disconnect where I would be, and it was rapid and sudden, where I'd be in a beautiful place, a beautiful country, or what have you, and not being able to look at these beautiful sights and being able to take it all in. It was like I was sort of disconnected from my body, and it was quite frightening and very troubling because I couldn't really understand what was going on, and the where to turn and what to do was the next question I had. Did start with naturopathic medicine to address my thyroid issue. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis about 2.5 years ago. So that was sort of the start of my journey, as well as dealing with an acupuncturist who diagnosed me with adrenal fatigue. So alternative medicine has always been in my scope of my health practice. Not to say that my own Western medicine doctor does not have his merits for the medical testing that needs to be done, but I have found that most Western medicine looks things at very linear approach as opposed to a broad scope. And what I was dealing with, I just knew walking into my doctor, he would get the deer in the headlights look, and I thought, I'm not going to go anywhere with this. So alternate forms of therapy, as I said before, have always been sort of my go-to to get to the root of the problem, not address just symptoms, but try and get to the root. And what led me to Nirvana was another friend of mine, mutual client, was diagnosed with cancer. Unfortunately, he has passed on, but I saw in him, my friend, how he thrived and how much more he got an extra 1.5 years of life from seeing Corey. So I saw Corey at a presentation, and he said the word brain fog, and I sat bolted straight up in my chair, and I said, I need to talk to this man. And with my experience, it wasn't so much foggy, but this disconnection. And he was the first person, like I swore he probably wanted to run the other way because I wasn't coming at him with full barrels or anything. But, I just wanted to stop and grab him and said, you're speaking my language. Like, thank God somebody is finally A, listening to me, and B, finally gets what I'm talking about. It's life-changing. And, Western medicine does have its limit, like, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, so many dismiss other forms of therapy and tell you, well, you shouldn't get that extra blood test, as I've been told, because it costs the healthcare system money. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Like, this is my health, and I have to be, because nobody else is going to do it. Mentally and emotionally, because I knew there had to be a psychological factor or imbalance or something going on with that, because I was not my happy, joyful self. Depression, for sure. To be completely honest with you, I had a couple of very short, maybe minute-long episodes of suicide thoughts that didn't last too long, that scared the heck out of me. but I did reach out after that. It affected my relationships at home with my clients. I just sort of felt like this zombie going through day to day, just trying to exist. I think I knew sort of maybe about 3 years ago, like I said, as soon as I had that episode when I was overseas and I'm looking at the Eiffel Tower and going, I am not experiencing emotionally what I need to be. I said, this is a whole other realm of health that I have no clue about. And I'm sure most, normal Western practitioners know about some type of alternate care. I have on my team, I do have a wonderful physician out of the States helping me with my thyroid and hormones and that sort of thing. And I even went so far as to proposal for the Mayo Clinic. I sent in my symptoms for the Mayo Clinic. I thought I have to try and do something. Oh, it's quite the personal struggle. And when it's a 24/7 issue, it's very tiring and you don't get a break from it. It dominates your life. When I had my initial consult with Corey, he's right away made me feel at ease. Didn't make false promises or anything, but he knew based on my symptoms, he launched right in, well, we can design a personalized program for you. These are the steps that we would take. He was very quietly confident and knowledgeable and aware of not just the science behind what was going on with me, but taking into account the full body with my brain, with my emotional issues, how the complete picture, not just symptoms, but looking at me as a person and saying, and acknowledging, yes, you've been struggling. And yes, I have dealt with some of these issues. And I can be part of on your team to help you through this. And it was like, life-changing. So Corey and team were my first glimmer of hope of crawling out of this health abyss. And it's hard to explain to people that have never, with the exception of yourself, of course, that have never been in it. They sort of look at you, if you physically don't look like you're sick or you're not in a hospital or you don't have a cast on or whatever, a lot of people don't get it. And, and the cool thing about collaborating with Corey and Liz is that you don't have to explain yourself. They just know. And that just sort of takes the pressure and the edge off you to explain everything all the time and just get to work on your body. And here's your plan. And this is what you need to do. And yeah, they're so compassionate, kind, and caring. Well, I've always put my health first, and I'm not, like I told you, I've always been my own health advocate. Here I've already been through 3 years of basically hell of not doing basically anything. Yes, was proactive with my thyroid care, and this was just sort of the next step. You can't put a price on your own health care. Now, there is the monetary factor that can be very, very daunting. You might be spending on, pills or half-truths or throwing ideas at the wall and not sticking. Here, there is science-based analysis where there is help and there is hope and concrete evidence, not just, airy-fairy, let's try this, let's try that. Medical history and going through your history and really getting down to the nitty-gritties of everything has been essential in diagnosis and treatment for me. The emotional and financial investment, it wasn't a question. I was like on board. Let's go. I probably won't understand half of what you're saying, and I still don't, but I trust you, and I'm going to bug you, and I'm going to ask you all kinds of questions, annoy the heck out of you guys. And they're always more than willing to explain to the best of their knowledge what we're doing and why we are doing it. So I think my learning curve's gone up maybe about that much. Major wins is working with Corey and Liz at Nirvana Health every single day. So as I go through my treatment plan, as I go through my neurofeedback, as I'm doing my EMDR, I feel like they're behind me each and every day. The regular check-ins, done blood work, we've done nutritional analysis, we've done supplementation, we've also addressed it psychological with, I've been doing EMDR and then been doing neurofeedback with Liz. Last December, I really started noticing, and actually noticing, not just me telling myself that I'm experiencing something, but actual mental changes where I can look at an object and actual concrete results where I do notice a difference, and the work that we are putting in is working. I have a daily life back. I'm not focused on my health and, just getting through the next hour or the next day or what's happening tomorrow, and dealing not only with my health, but also the everyday stresses that come with life in general anyways, when you're healthy, let alone when you're sick. A big weight has been lifted, and I feel like I am re-engaging with life again. I enjoy the simple pleasures of going for a walk, rediscovering, I have my personality back, of laughing and having fun and those kinds of things. And that's everything. Without question. Focus on my health has given me that control back and that power back. Everybody, I think, is a control freak when it comes to their own health. You think, oh yeah, this should be all done. I've learned a lot about patience with myself. I've learned a lot about that your health takes daily work. If you work at it and you care enough about yourself to do it, you will be rewarded, but you have to be patient, but it will happen. I've thought about that a few times, and the idea enters my head and then I have to shove it aside. I don't even want to go there. I have no idea. And I'm glad I don't have to think about that. I feel so blessed. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. If you can find Nirvana Health, if you are willing to put in 110%, you will get 120 or 200% back from Nirvana, Corey, and Liz. They will be on your team. They'll be there for you no matter what. They'll be there. They will be empathetic, compassionate, and be there for you every step of the way. And without question, do not hesitate.